United States changed my life completely.
How much money do you make on YouTube?
This might come as a very big surprise. I get about 1 million views. Subscribers, followers don't matter. Someone with 10 subscribers can get 1 million views, and someone with 1 million subscribers can get like 100 views. Roughly dollars is what I would make.
Are there any other ways we can make money from YouTube?
You can just sign up for it. And I grew up poor. The mindset always growing up was I was living in scarcity all the time.
So can we actually make money on Instagram?
100,000 follower is a good mark, but if you have 100,000 followers and every single reel only gets like 1,000 views, then no brands will sponsor you. Because
for somebody who wants to start with content creation, what would you recommend?
In terms of audience building, this is how I would build audience now if I were to redo all of it. Started at...
What do you think is the impact of the new presidency when it comes to H-1B and F-1 visas?
I really don't think the problem is going to be for skilled labor or skilled immigrants. It's going to be problem for...
Create one video where they're sponsoring something which they don't use and it's just for money, and the people call them a sellout.
I mean, people will call you out sellout regardless. So there will be always someone who will be unhappy.
Is it still worth to come to the US in this day and age?
If someone is just planning to escape India and think like life will be amazing in United States, then no, like it's not going to be worth it for you, because you...
Hello and welcome to the Compounding Project podcast, where we talk about taking small steps to become healthy, wealthy, and wise. So my name is Satish Kachura, and this episode is all about wealth, especially content creation. Our guest today is Yudi J, who's joining us from California, US. Yudi is a YouTuber and a podcaster. His mission is to inspire immigrants to pursue their dreams and build a successful career in the US. He has 285,000 plus subscribers on YouTube and also 170,000 plus followers on Instagram. This episode will focus on his content creation tips, tools, and strategies, and also how to earn passive income on immigrant visa. With that, Yudi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I love the intro. I like how you put it together. So concise, I might steal it. I was like, okay, next time I'll just use that intro.
Sure. Yeah. I've done my research and I'm actually excited for this conversation because I've consumed so much of your content online. I believe I first came across your content almost like more than 5 years ago, and then your tips are so valuable. And first of all, like, thank you so much for creating such amazing content.
Thank you. It means a lot. And I'm happy and glad that it helped you, and hopefully it keeps helping the students.
Yep. And also, like, I posted on my Instagram page and also, within my, friends and family that you're going to be on the podcast, and, they just send me a bunch of questions to ask. So I'll do my best to, ask as much as I can. But yeah, I'm excited for this conversation. So before we dig deeper, like, can you talk about your story and your journey when it comes to like US?
Yeah, I came to so I grew up in Mumbai, India, and then I come from lower middle class family. So I grew up in chawl system. But then fast forward to 2013, one of my best friends, Neville, like he was going for his master's, and he's like, you need to come with me. And I was like, there's no money. Like, who's going to pay for this? So he's like, don't worry, just like give GRE, and then you get like 4 universities you can apply to. So I did my master's. Long story short, like I came here to United States to pursue my master's in computer science. And and then since last 9 years now, 8+ years, I've been working in tech industry. I shifted from computer science to project management to program management, engineering manager, and now I'm a senior product manager. So that is who I am professionally. As a hobby, I love filmmaking in general. I always had a soft corner for it. And so I decided to pursue. Somebody said, like, I think it was in 2017, late 2018. Yeah, someone said, why, like, what stops you? Like, you can just create a YouTube video. And I was like, oh, that's right. You just need a camera and you just need your opinion and just start talking.
Yep.
And so that's really how it all got started. Yeah. And so I create content on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I also have a newsletter. So all of those places.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I want to dig deeper into your content creation journey because before we hit record, I just spoke to you about, I was trying to do some research about, your thought process when it comes to content creation, but I could not find any video or podcast interview where you talked about your journey. So yeah, and this is going to be a special one. So when it comes to content creation, so when did that mindset like shift happen, right? I mean, for me, I'm just follow the traditional path of coming to the US, doing my masters, pursuing my job here, but I've never thought about the content creation. Like, when did that switch happen to you?
Same. Never thought about content creation as like something that I'll be doing. Same path. Computer science, started working. So I think 2016 is when I started working full time, and 2018, 2 years later, I had my house. I bought my house in California. I paid off my car loan, paid off my education loan, and so life was good. Like, it was good. Like, it was nice 9 to 5, and people over here stop at 9 to 5, and then they don't like overwork unless there's like a release or something. And so I stopped, and I was like, I need like a hobby. Like, I need to do something from this free time. And I always wanted to do filmmaking. I actually wanted to become an actor when I was in Mumbai. In fact, everybody who's in Mumbai wants to become an actor. So, uh, but that dream was always a dream. And as my on-campus job, I had some of the filming events. Like, I was working in a student clubs and all of those. So we always had like a promotion thing that we had to shoot, etc. So that's when like the spark again happened. And then I was like, okay, maybe I will, just like you, I actually started a podcast called Coffee with Hustlers. And the original idea, the concept was to interview entrepreneurs and successful people to learn about their story and what keeps them going, and like whatever we can learn from their story, because I believe everyone has a story to say. So that channel probably still exists on YouTube. I made like 5 videos. But at that time, I was too naive and I gave up too quickly. I so wish, that is one regret I have, that I could have continued, because 2018 was not the podcast era, right? Like, I was too early of time. So 2020 is like when the podcast boom happened in a way. So it was like I was interviewing people who were not famous. Neither I was famous, so nobody was watching it. Like, I was barely getting like 100 views, maybe 500 views. Like, that's like viral for me at that time. So I was like very excited. So then somebody said, like, why don't you just talk about your story? You came from Mumbai, lower middle class family, to America, living the dream, American dream. People will be inspired. And I was like, first thought was, why would someone want to listen to me? Or why would someone be interested in my story? So that was my first thought. But then one of the family friends reached out to me. They were planning to come to United States. They had a low GRE score, and the consultancy they were in said, like, you will never get an admit. You need to redo the GRE. And his GRE score was more than mine. Was the real reason behind like starting my channel, because I was like, wait, there's actually a gap of understanding how things work in United States, especially for international students and immigrants. So that is the route I can take. Like, while I've done all of this, I can explain what I did and then how it all works. And that just clicked. And so that was my first video, like about low GRE score, and that resonated really well. In fact, that video did really well. And then then just people started commenting. I had a bunch of ideas like how to write SOP and how to do admission process and so on and so forth. Again, there was a market gap at that point of time. Nobody was making it. I think there were a few people who were making at that point of time, and it just clicked with the audience, and that's really how it all started.
I think I can resonate to your stories because I've watched a ton of your content, so I can totally resonate to I believe that's something that even I see like a lot of podcasts now. The reason why they're booming is they talk about stories, right? I mean, people connect to stories, and which is why you can watch an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long podcast because they talk about just stories. So yeah, that's very powerful. Can you talk about the first video, right? I mean, for me, like I thought about creating content for almost 2 years, but I didn't take that first step because I was scared about like what my friends would think, what my family would think. I was in that analysis paralysis, and it took me 2 years to just come out of that bubble. So what was your mindset like, because we all know what to do, but what was your mindset like before creating that first video, and what were the challenges you faced?
I mean, there are like technical challenges and then there are emotional challenges. I grew up poor. So like the mindset always growing up was I was living in scarcity all the time. And so I never cared for what people think about me because I think I was so done with what society thinks about me, because that's how, like, especially in the lower middle class, I used to live in Chawl. So even like what my Chawl people will think, I grew up with that mentality. And I think United States changed my life completely. When I came here, when I met people here, and especially my mentors or boss on campus, like spending time with them, and I'm really realizing how freeing it is to not worry about what other people think. Because this was like the thing that they said to me this is like some different. When I was hosting an event, holy event, I was a president of Indian club and I was hosting it, and I was too nervous, like what if I say something stupid, what if I say something funny? And my boss said, even if you do, what difference does it make? And even if they say something, they don't pay your bills, neither they pay for your food. And I'm like, that's right. Like, and I was like, I'm so worried about what they are thinking, but none of them are going to pay my bill. None of them are going to come and say, offer me food and house. I do everything on my own. So like, why worry? And it just was so freeing to me at that point of time. So since then, I developed like a thick skin, saying like, okay, I don't care. I will make mistake. I allowed myself. I gave freedom that, okay, make mistakes, fail a few times, because that's how I will learn. And so mentally, that's how like I really told myself, like, this is a chapter that I'm opening, and it is a very scary chapter. It is going to be where people will criticize me for my English, because my English wasn't that great at that point of time. Still not great, but I can communicate now. I knew people will make comments about my thick accent, and all of those things were there. But back to the same original point, none of them pay my bills. None of them pay for my food. None of them let me stay in their house. So their opinion does not matter to me. The only opinion matter is the critical feedback that I will take it. I mean, constructive feedback that I'll take it and improve it, so on and so forth. So mindset wise, that's how I dealt with it. Technical challenges like figuring out how camera works, how the audio, like the first few videos were horrible in terms of audio because the camera was so far. I didn't realize that the mic has to be so close to you. And so I think that just naturally people said like, oh, your audio sucks. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I need to learn how to fix my audio. So I think those things just happened by doing it. Like it didn't really stop me. I didn't really think about it. I was like, okay, one thing I'm going to learn how to color grade my footage, how to edit my footage, how to do this. So every time I was just learning something and then just kept going.
So this was in like 20. So if I'm
18.
18, right? So this was in 2018 when you started creating. At that time, you were working a full-time job, and then you had some free time.
I'm still working full-time job. Yes.
Still working full-time. That's so great. We'll dive deeper into that as well. So you had some free time in the evenings and also on the weekends, right? But how did you manage your time? The reason I'm asking this is because, whenever I, people like watch my videos and they say, like, you have so much time, that you're working, but that's why I'm like curious about, like, the managing time part, especially when you have a full-time job and then with content creation, because it's not easy, right? I mean, coming up with a video and then scripting and all that content creation process is not easy. So how do you manage your time, when it comes to content creation?
For the people who tell you that you have so much of time, let me tell you a secret. Everybody has so much of time. They just don't know how to optimize it. How I managed my time. One, I was a project management. So I think of my life in systems and product in a way. So everything I was systemizing it from the very beginning. I use Notion for my content creation. It's a tool, like a project management tool, documentation tool. I batch film a lot of my content. I mean, not a lot of, I always batch film all of my content. So every single day is divided. So if Monday is for ideation, Tuesday is for community engagement, Wednesdays are for scripting, Thursdays for editing, Thursday and Fridays were for editing, and Saturday and Sundays were for filming. So that is kind of how I had it at that point of time. Right now it's very similar, but maybe the days are different because now I process my time based on how I feel energy-wise versus because work, now I'm more at a leadership level. So my brain is getting more used. Before it wasn't, like, it was still getting used, but the energy wasn't as much needed. So yeah, so I think the structure was like, I always had like backlog of 50 ideas and then I keep adding them. So sometimes people will say like, hey, make a video on chemical engineering or make a video on this. So every time something happens, I take that and put it in my idea list. And then so there's a bunch of ideas. So I'm not like thinking, oh, what video should I make? I already have a bunch of ideas which are prioritized based on the comments and things that I know or the timeline that we are in. And then there are a bunch of videos that are also getting scripted at the same point of time. Like, okay, chemical engineering, what does it require? What is the cost of living? Which are the famous universities? So I'm scripting at one point of time. And there are like 4 or 5 videos I'm scripting, but I'm giving sometimes. And then like there's a day where I'm like, okay, today I have time for 2 hours. I'm going to film a bunch of videos. And then I would edit a bunch of time, like Saturday, Thursday, Friday, I would take out like 2 hours and just edit. I think the reality is like you need to be disciplined and that grit, like you really want to do this because otherwise you will not be able to sustain.
True. I mean, there are so many nuggets in what you just said. I want to double click on so many things.
Yeah.
So first, let's talk about Yudi in 2018, right? So did you have a team or were you always doing it yourself?
Yeah, I did not have team until 2022. So everything, first 4 years, I did it everything on my own.
So yeah, I mean, that's crucial, right? Because we feel, especially like when it comes to content creation, there are like so many things, what you just said, like in ideation, scripting, recording, editing, and publishing. I mean, this is so much for one person to take care. So did you have, what goal did you have in mind when you first started? Okay, were you, I mean, now you have like almost 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's not an easy feat. So what goal did you have in mind when you first started your YouTube channel?
I really did not have a goal at that point of time. I think that was very immature, and that is like the tip I would give to aspiring creators. Have a goal. So you either pursue YouTube as a hobby or as a business. So there's a pendulum, and which side, like where are you leaning more towards? So for me, it was like a hobby because I started it as like, I have a bunch of time. I need to like do something. I need to do something fun. So for me, it was more of a hobby side. I never thought of it as a business. In 2021 is when I started shifting towards thinking more like, oh, this could be like a business. This could make me money, and this could be like a nice side income. But till then, it was more like really the goal was to help as many people as I can. And that's really what it was. At some point, then the goal became like 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers and 100,000 subscribers. But I think after 100,000, the numbers really didn't matter, especially now with algorithms, subscribers, followers don't matter. Like someone with 10 subscribers can get 1 million views, and someone with 1 million subscribers can get like 100 views. So I really think it is all about the content that you make. So so I think at that point of time, the goal was just like, these are the pain points of my audience. I genuinely want to teach. I'm a teacher at heart. Like I genuinely want to help people. I just want to solve the problem. Looking back, when I was in India, I did not have someone like me who can guide students. So I want to be that mentor for these students. So really just that was the goal as I was pursuing as a hobby.
Yeah, maybe we can dig deeper into your content creation process. You just mentioned almost like 5 steps. So did you have any like schedule in mind? Because I mean, when I see some content creators, we have this initial motivation, right? We come up with ideas, that first phase is like, beautiful, right? We come up with ideas, we publish, and then after, 2-3 videos, we realize nobody's watching our videos, and then we give up on our dreams, and then that's it, right? So what was it like when you first started? Was there any frequency, if at all, or how did you stay motivated even though if you're not getting any views?
So those are two separate questions. One, frequency. Yes, I think the frequency was 2 videos a week. Don't know why. It was just everyone was doing that. I was like, oh, sounds like a good amount of thing. I think I started as a 1 video a week and then realized that, I can actually do 2. So I moved it to 2. And then I did have like days, like I had, I think at that time I had Tuesdays and Saturdays or something like that. There was like a 3-day gap between 2 videos. So there was a frequency. In the beginning, I did not really have a process because I did not know what it takes to make a YouTube video and to be successful. So it was more like an experimentation. After 10 videos, I was like, okay, shit, like this is like, this needs to be optimized because I cannot just like think on the spot. I need to have ideas list. I need to have script ready. I need to be filming one day. I need to be editing one day. I need to be thinking about thumbnails one day. So then it became, again, like my nature naturally is that I always think of systems. So what is the system for making a YouTube video? And so I put it together. How do you stay motivated when the views are low? You look at the comments and DMs when people say like, this was really helpful. So in the early stage, if you still go on my Instagram, there in the highlight section, you will see a lot of people send me a bunch of messages saying that, thank you, like I almost gave up on my dream, but I saw this video, it helped me. So I think that was really thing. And again, I wasn't doing it for the views. I was doing it because it was fun. Like for me, I was operating from like a lot more, like I wasn't operating from an optimization mode. I was operating for, this is so much fun. Like I know this thing, I can talk about it. I'm just going to talk about it. So I love the whole filming process. I love the whole editing process. I love the way camera looks and the way I look and how can I make the background look nice. And so it was, for me, there was a lot of inner child in me was very excited. Like how do I painted my room black because black was a thing at that point of time. And then I added a bunch of plans, fake plans. So it was just like, a lot of it was just learning until like first 50 videos. And then like really I just got into a habit. Like, okay, at this point of time, in my control is not views. In my control is making videos and making videos which people want to click and watch. So that's what I'll do. Views, like it's up to people then. Yeah, so I think that's really how I went ahead.
Yep. Yeah. And it's powerful in what you just said. Like, when you love what you do, I like your background as well. You says like love what you do. So when you
Yes.
love what you do, you don't feel like work, right? And it's that's as simple as it. Of course, like it's not always like rainbows and sunshine. There are days when you don't want to do it. There are days when you almost want to give up. But it's
Yeah, I
like
mean there were
yeah
days where I did not get views, and then there is like this inner negative talk
Yep.
that you assume that people don't want to watch you, people don't like you, people don't want to hear from you, what you're doing is not valuable. All of these talks will happen, and you just need to shut it down and say, but there are people who are getting help. And mm, I think people forget, if you like, again, this was another thing when I was going through this negative zone. Um, Even if you think about like 100 views, if you are in front of 100 people, you will be overwhelmed that, oh
Yep.
my gosh,
Yep.
these are
Yep.
like
Yep. Yep.
people.
Yep. Yep.
But just because it's digital and it's only 100, you feel like, oh, only 100 views, but these are 100 real people, right?
Yes.
So I think I think that's how I started to help motivate myself.
Yep. I mean, that's a complete shift in my mindset as well. Like when on my Instagram page, when I hit like 10,000 followers, somebody sent me a picture of 10,000 people in a crowd, right? And then somebody sent me that picture. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
It feels like,
exactly.
especially when we look at, Instagram, like when we look at other profiles, right? They're like 100K, million, 10
Yeah.
million, right?
Yeah.
Then you feel, that number is low. But yeah, what you just said, it's like, yeah, that's a powerful shift in mindset. So I want to get even more specific when it comes to content creation. So let's talk about like apps, websites, and tools that you use for your content creation. So maybe we can start with like ideation, right? Whenever you come up with idea, like what tools to use to document or capture your ideas.
Yeah, everything is Notion. In terms of documentation, ideation, capturing, everything is Notion. There's a plugin called Capture to Notion, something like that. So anytime there is a video that am seeing, anytime an article or LinkedIn post, you just click that button. It goes to my Notion database, which I have already configured to go into my ideas page. Then from there, I have a Kanban, almost like a Kanban board. So it starts with like ideas to be approved. Then from there, it goes to ideas approved, need, thumbnail, title. So once the idea is approved, so then I'm like, okay, what will be a good title? If I cannot come up with a good title or thumbnail, I do not make the video. Then I am like, okay, now is the time to start researching and scripting. So once I have title, thumbnail, and idea approved, then it goes into scripting. This is all happening in Notion. So then it goes into the scripting status where I'm scripting and researching and talking to my audience like, hey, what would you like to know? And like yesterday I was scripting a video on business analytics. And I asked like 5 to 10 students, like if they can jump on a call. So we went on a 15-minute call. I drove all the different elements, like here is fees and here is the cost. Here are the common universities. Here is the coursework and skills and job. I put together that. So that's my research / scripting process. I do a lot of outsource and in terms of like try to get information from there. And so once the scripting is done, then it's ready to film. So then in ready to film, there are just bunch of scripts ready for me to film. And then whenever the day comes of filming, so I move it from ready to film and ready to edit. Then it sits in ready to edit. So now when Thursday comes, Thursday and Friday were my editing day. So those days I will go and edit. For editing, I used Final Cut Pro. For audio, I use Epidemic. I used to use Soundstripe for a longest time, but then I shifted to Epidemic. Those are the only two tools I really use. and then I just upload it. I did not use any kind vidIQ or TubeBuddy or any of those things until like very recently, like 2 years ago is when I started using like more of those tools for keywords and all of it. But now you have ChatGPT, so life is so much more easier.
True.
Yeah, I think that's my process. So then bunch of video is like ready to be scheduled. Then I upload it, and they are all scheduled, and then they just go.
Okay, and what recording software do you use for podcasting and stuff?
Oh, for podcasting, I used to not do podcasting. That started in 2021.
Okay.
I use I started on Zoom. Then I did OBS, Zoom and OBS, and then I shifted to StreamYard. Again, the reason was because I was doing a lot of webinars. So StreamYard was something that I used for webinars, and then I was like, oh, I can also record podcast on this. So that's what I use for recording podcasts. And mic is Shure mic that goes into Rodecaster, which is like an audio mixer that goes into my computer through like normal cable, USB-C cable. I'm right now using Sony A7S III, which is the camera that I use, and that goes into HDMI into my computer through a different adapter, which converts the analog signal to digital for my computer. That's everything you need to know.
That's like that's as specific as you can get, right? I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. And one last thing, when it comes to
light, of course, light. There's a light right now, and light plays a big role. So if people want to like invest, I would first invest in the audio equipment, because audio is much more important than visual. People can see a bad lighting / bad video, but they cannot tolerate bad audio. That is like a big lesson. So audio first, then go to camera, and then go to before camera, invest into light, and then invest into camera. Light is aperture 120D, I think.
Okay. That's actionable advice right there. If somebody wants to start. So the last thing, when it comes to like thumbnails, what software do you use?
Oh, I use Canva.
Okay, yep. That's, I mean, I love so much Canva that, as like Canva and ChatGPT, these two are making my life so much easier for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think so maybe we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about the visa part and also like the money part. That's the most exciting part. So I'm on H1B visa, and for whenever I talk about content creation, not only content creation, but rental properties or in investing, right? I mean, the biggest challenge that I get is can you invest or can you create content on H1B visa? So what are your thoughts on that?
No, you cannot. And no, you cannot. I mean, you can create content, but you cannot make money from it unless you are creating the content not on the land of United States. So there's a big difference over there. So let's say you went to India, you filmed like 10 videos, you can monetize those because you did not film those videos in United States. You created those videos in India. That's an example. I know there are a bunch of students and bunch of creators who will say, and I know a bunch of audience will say like, what about these people? I don't know what they're doing and how they're doing it, but there is a loopholes and everybody sends money. They don't link their bank account in United States. They link their bank account to their grandmother in India. So they think that this will never be trapped and tracked and all of it. I never wanted to take that risk. So I did not monetize until 2021. That year is when I got my green card. I married to US citizen and my wife is a US citizen. So that's how I got my family-based green card. My green card was in the process from my company. Like I was also on H1B. So till then, I never monetized it. My green card got into the process from employer, like from my company. But obviously, it was faster for me to get it through family-based green card. So that's how I got it. In 2021, when I got the EAD for my green card, that is when I turned on the monetization and started making money. But for people who are on H1, F1, technically you are not allowed to work do something other than your primary sponsor. In this case, H1B will be your work. Yeah, so that's unless again you are like a media student and this is part of your thing, so you could there are caveats to that. So I would consult like an immigration lawyer how to make it happen if you really want to.
So it's basically like, if you're doing anything active apart from our 9 to 5 job, then we can't make money on top of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So for passive, like you could have a rental. So Airbnb again becomes very, very gray line. You could have an Airbnb as long as you have a property manager and your involvement is like extremely lower than like your actual job. So that is one thing. Obviously, stock investments, like you could invest in stock and not day trading, but like an actual investment and then forget about it. And then, a year after long, you want to resell it, you can do that. There were a few other things that I can't think of, but like, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. How about like, I've seen people investing in motels and also other like grocery stores and stuff. Yeah.
Again, it depends on how much is your involvement. Now you can file H1B through your own company. I don't know if you know this or not, but USCIS has now allowed if F1 student wants to start their own company and they want to sponsor themselves, they can. You can also have majority stake in the company as well. But for motels and grocery stores, I think you can, again, I'm not an immigration lawyer, so take this with a pinch of salt, but you can invest into it as long as you are not the one who's doing the accounting or managing the store and all of it, even managing the employee. So you need to really have someone who's doing all of it and you are like a sleeping partner. So that is like a workaround. Again, consult immigration lawyer. They will guide you properly.
Sure. Yeah, that's an powerful advice right there. One more thing, I've seen a bunch of your videos where you talked about, about a house for $350K in California and also a house in Florida. So can you talk about like your rental property investment, both on H1B and a green card?
So my house in California is my personal home. So it is not a rental property. What I did do technically is like I had a roommate who was paying the rent because we were together and we were like, might as well you're paying this $500 for the rent. Instead of that, just pay it to me and we get to enjoy the house. That was like for a very small amount of time.
Sure. Yeah. I'll link that in the show notes as well. I mean, since we're already on the money topic, I'm going to ask, the most itching question, like, how much money do you make on YouTube?
So I make, again, this might come as a very big surprise. I get about 1 million views and that is roughly $800 or $900. Now, why? Because I have most of the views come from India. And the ad rates in India is extremely low, especially if the target audience is students. They don't have money. So the advertisers don't have anything to sell to them other than like test preps and all of it. So the ad rates are really low. So roughly $600 to $1,000 is what I would make. Again, that really depends on views. Some months are 600,000 views. So then that means like it's $400 dollars or so. Some months are extremely good. So it just depends on the topic and the views. And like during immigration, when I was talking about Trump, that was high views because the audience was from US. And so that time, like maybe I made $1,200. So it's rough. But on an average, I've seen 600 to 1,000 is where my ad revenue stays in. Then comes the big part, which is the sponsorship. Now, that really depends on so many factors. Is it one video? Is it 12 videos? Is it what kind of sponsorship deal it is and what kind of views you're getting? Is it like an affiliate deal where every time a student buys something because of your link, you get $20 from it? Then let's say 200 people bought it and you made $4,000. So there's just bunch of things, and that just like again depends on the size of the creator.
Okay. So for people who are not aware, like, can you talk about sponsorship? Like, what is sponsorship? And
Yeah, so sponsorship is like there are a lot of brands who don't have personal brands who wants to reach out to the audience. I have the audience, so or creators have audience. So for example, in my case, like again, people who might need this water bottle and this brand, nobody knows this brand, and I'm like, hey, I've been using this brand. I love this brand. There's a link in the description. Go check it out. Just because I did that, either the brand will pay me to say that because I said that, and now I have my audience who will like maybe check it out, or the affiliate part is like because someone will buy it, this bottle might cost like $20, so I'll get like 10% of it, which is $2. So every time someone buys, I get a $2. So that really depends. That's like the basic concept of sponsorship.
okay, so do sponsors reach out to you, or do you reach out to them? How does it work?
Yeah, I have never reached out to a sponsor just because I've never done this because of money. It's usually them reaching out to me, and I never partner. I probably say like in today's world, I get maybe 30 to 50 sponsors, and I say like 97% I say just say no. So because again, I don't like, for me, the trust with the audience that I've built is the most important thing. So I don't want to sell anything to my audience if I have not used it or I have not experienced it personally. So anytime I have done a partnership with a brand, it's because either I know the CEO, founder personally, I know why they're doing it, what they're doing it. I love partnering with startups because I know the struggle that they're going through, and I have talked with the founder myself. Or I have used the brand myself before I promote it to my audience because I had great experience. I know this will be good for my brand. I mean, for my audience. That is why I'm making it. So that is my like morals for brand partnership. I will lose money, and that's totally fine. Like I could make millions of dollars, but I don't because I don't want to sell out my audience.
I mean, that is so powerful. That is actually, I mean, you might not believe, but I follow a lot of like podcasters and also like YouTube creators, and like they might be creating content for like 5 years, 10 years, but if they create one video where they're sponsoring something which they don't use and it's just for money, then people call them a sellout, right? I mean, so you build trust with audience for like 5 years, 10 years.
I mean,
but
people will call you out sellout regardless. So there will be always someone who will be unhappy.
Yep.
So it's okay. You need to ignore those people. But I genuinely believe like as long as I am secure in myself, like why I did it, I don't care like if people think that way. Again, if there are constructive feedback about the brand, then I will take the screenshot. I'll send it to the brand saying like, hey, here's what they're saying about the product. Fix it. Otherwise, I'm not doing it again with you. So I really like doing that.
Yep. Yeah, I think the intention is important, right? It's is money your intention, or the trust is that makes a difference for sure. Yep. So since we're on the money from YouTube, like the income sources from YouTube, so you talked about ad revenue, you talked about sponsorship or brand deals. Are there any other ways we can make money from YouTube?
So ad revenue, brand deals, affiliate. Again, you can just sign up for Amazon affiliate, and if you're like saying like, hey, buy this mic and use that Amazon affiliate link, you'll still get the revenue share. There are a bunch of those products that you use and you want to become an affiliate. I am pretty confident a lot of them have an affiliate partner program, so you can do that. I think those are the three main, I guess, speaking fees as well. You can get speaking fees if you're like invited to like an event to be a guest speaker. I don't ever charge other than my travel and accommodation. Because for me, just to be with my audience is like the big thing. So as long as they cover my travel and stay and food, I am good. But you could get fees for that. And then your own product, like if you make your own product, then you can make money from that as well. So this is where, like, again, if aspiring creators who are watching this, you should be extremely clear. There's two things you should be extremely clear. One is, are you an entertainment or are you an education? There's only two main things that you want to focus on. Like, so either you're going on the entertainment route or you're going on an education route. Both of them are a different approach to grow. So one is that. Second is, are you approaching it as a hobby or are you approaching it as a business? If you are approaching it as a business, YouTube is not where you will make money. YouTube is your marketing channel. That's how you need to think about it. And your community building kind of things. So yeah, so anyway, like, I'm giving you like way more. Please cut it out. Whatever you need.
This is powerful, because I thought, when before I started my YouTube channel, when I see all these views, I thought, okay, they must be like, making too much money, right? But again, like, there are channels who make, too much money, but actually YouTube is a platform where you can build trust, right? I mean, so so I've seen that, like, I've seen many creators. I just signed up for courses because I feel like I know that person. I've watched his videos for over time, and I feel like I have that trust, and which is why, I signed up for his course. Versus, if you don't have that trust that's built up, it's very hard to, make that transaction. So that's one of the reasons I felt okay, and which exactly aligns with what he just said, right? I mean, YouTube may not be great to, to make like passive income, like, to make you come out of your 9-to-5 job. But again, it's the place which opens your opportunities and when you can build the trust.
Right. Yeah. Again, if you are an entertainer, then Bhuvan Bam, Ashish Chanchlani, mostly Sane, all of this got into, like, even singers now, like they get live shows and all of it. So this is where you build the audience, and then because you have an audience, because people love you, you can get invited to Big Boss, you can get invited to roadies, you can get, like, so many doors open up. So that's why you want to decide, is it entertaining or is it education? And if is it hobby or is it business? And then approach it that way.
Yep. Let's switch gears and talk about Instagram. So can we actually make money on Instagram?
The Instagram doesn't pay the way YouTube pays. So ad revenue, no. But yeah, I mean, there are so many creators. Again, same revenue channels. Like, you can get paid to make an Instagram reel. You can so sponsorship, affiliate marketing. You can have your own product and sell your own product. So all of those things still applies. Like, again, if you have an audience, people might call you as a speaker, and so all of those things apply on Instagram as well.
I mean, when it comes to, like, I see some profiles with, let's say, like 100,000 plus subscribers, right? So having just subscribers, do we make money from just having subscribers?
It depends. So 100,000 follower is a good mark in terms of influencer marketing. Like, if you're talking about brand deals. But if you have 100,000 followers and every single reel only gets like 1,000 views, then no brands will sponsor you because you just don't have views. They can just pay like $50 and get the same amount of view from Instagram Reel Boost. So it also depends on, like, how your audience is reacting to your content and how much engagement you have, and all of it. But there are certain brands who will purely look at your follower count, and then only they will look at your content. And again, there are some other brands who will look at. So now there's like nano influencer, micro influencer, mega influencer. So, like, you fall under different categories, and then there's rate based on that. So it just really depends.
So it's mostly like, we don't get money from, if somebody on Instagram watches our reels, usually, like, we don't get money, but it's just that, when brands reach out to us and affiliate marketing.
I mean, there was a money program by Facebook, by Meta, but they stopped it. So now I don't think they anymore pay for views.
So yeah, we talked about Instagram, we talked about YouTube. So before I talk about, the latest trends and also the upcoming opportunities when it comes to immigrants in the US. So for somebody who wants to start with content creation, what would you recommend them to start with?
Start with shorts and Instagram reel. It's the quickest way to build audience, and then transition them to newsletter and YouTube. That is what I would recommend them. Like if that's what you're asking, like in terms of audience building, this is how I would build audience now if I were to redo all of it. Start it at short form because it's quick, it's easy. You can experiment very quickly with so many different ideas, different topics, different niches. So that's where I would start, and then move that audience to YouTube, because that is where the trust will be built, and then newsletter. Like I would definitely start a newsletter. Again, it depends if that is the goal.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I totally underestimate the power of newsletter, because I think at the end of the day, if all channels, like shut down,
Yeah, if
right?
they change the algorithm, you have no way to reach out to your followers, subscribers.
Exactly.
But in at least newsletter, you have full control. You know that every week this many people open my email, so at least that is one direct connection with your audience.
Yep. Yeah. That's a lesson that I learned very lately. But yeah, I think at
Same.
least if somebody's
I learned it last year as well. So I started building my audience on newsletter last year as well.
Yes. I mean, emails are powerful. Email is not going to go anywhere. Yeah, that's powerful right there. So I want to ask about some, your thoughts on, the latest trends and also of future opportunities. So, what do you think is the impact of the new presidency when it comes to H-1B and F-1 visas?
I think it's going to be good. So, I mean, there was a big H-1B debate. I don't know if you follow Twitter or not, but there was a big H-1B debate about, like, there were Trump supporters saying like, okay, kill the H-1B program. But then Elon said, I will go to the wars if this has to happen. And, and then Trump came and said like H-1B is a solid program and we need to have it because we need skilled people. So I really don't think the problem is going to be for skilled labor or skilled immigrants. It's going to be problem for obviously illegal immigrants and illegal people. So there will be a lot more scrutiny on those things. There will be scrutiny on fake consultancies, fake jobs, and multiple H-1B filings and all kinds of shady things that people do. So I think that will be in trouble. But people who have genuine jobs and genuine bringing skill and helping economy, I don't think that will be an issue. There's a talk that they might also remove country cap, which will be amazing if they do it, and possibly go into merit-based H-1Bs and green card. That might also happen. So I'm optimistic with the Trump coming into the picture. So we'll see.
But yeah, that I'm optimistic as well. Like there was a lot of friction when in 2016 when he first got elected, but I think so far it hasn't been that bad. When the news actually make it sound even worse. But yeah, let's see. I'm optimistic as well. My other question is when it comes to students coming to the US, right? I mean, there are so many people who reach out to me and ask, hey, is it still worth to come to the US in this day and age?
I mean, it's like so hard to answer that question. Like, I don't know the situation. Like, I don't know what do you mean by is it worth? Like, what do you even say when you say is it worth it? Like, if you go to, for example, I was talking to someone who went to Georgia Tech, got TA in the first semester, continued the TA for the 4 semesters, and did their entire masters for free. Got the stipend of $3,000. If you multiply that by 12, that is $36,000, $72,000 they made just by doing this. They had an internship in Meta, made a bunch of money through that. Yeah, freaking absolutely worth it. I mean, I don't know the answer, how to answer like a very generic, like, is it worth it? For that person, it is absolutely worth it. They made the right choices. They did the right things. They had the right strategies. They knew what they were doing. They were absolutely clear. So if someone is just planning to escape India and think like life will be amazing in United States, then no, like it's not going to be worth it for you because you don't have a clear purpose. But if you're someone who's coming with a clear purpose, clear goal, clarity of where you want to go, why you want to do it, you have a full-on strategy planned up, you know how things work here, I think it'll be worth it. So that is as general as I can be. Again, there's a lot of caveats. I mean, I don't know anything about bioinformatics. I don't know anything about. So it's just like so many things that are like hard to give you like a blanket statement that yes, it is worth it or no, it is not. I still think America is a land of opportunities, and so I just don't know your situation or the person who's asking that question.
True. I mean, I actually, answer in the same way as well. It's like too generic to give a specific advice, right? I mean, every person, the goals are different, the situation is different, and also there, there are a lot of other factors that come into play. So there's not like, a binary answer that we can give. So I want to talk about maybe like, the growth opportunities in India. I've seen a lot of this startup trend in India. I mean, almost every other person that I speak to, he says he calls himself as a CEO or a founder, and then they start a company. So what are your thoughts on the startup culture in India and the growth opportunities?
I was shocked. So I went to India twice this year. Last year, 2024.
Yeah. Yep.
I was shocked at the growth. I mean, pleasantly shocked, I would say. I think, again, I was in Hyderabad, Bangalore, like every single thing, India is a convenience market, like so much more opportunities over there. It is growing. So bunch of my advice was also when they said like, oh, I make 30 lakhs per year. I'm like, don't come. Like if you are making 30 lakhs per year, like I think like, I mean, I don't know, like, again, it depends on the culture you are you enjoying with the culture? So there's a lot of things, but I think there's a lot of growth because the population that we are in the India, it's the highest working class population right now is in India. This was for China a few years ago, and then now it is in India. Then it will be Africa. So again, so that's why we have the most amount of people who are in between, like, 22 to 40, who are the most working class people. So it is going to grow in the next 5-10 years. And so I think it just really depends on, then it really comes down to personal choice of like, what they want to do.
True. Yeah, I've been to India after 5 years, just last year in 2024. And I mean, it's like a day and night difference for me. So
Yeah.
I actually, like, to be honest, like when I first started, I before I came to US, I worked for like 6 months in India. At that time, my salary was 3.5 lakhs per annum. So it was a standard,
I think there's still that is still there in a lot of companies, like Accenture, TCS, and all of these companies that are still at 3 to 5 lakhs. But there are a lot of startup who value talent, and they are giving like good salary. So yeah, and it really depends on the culture. Like if there's a lot of hierarchy, vertical hierarchy, where you can't talk to like a skip manager, or you can't talk to like, you are like, there's lot more better culture companies now, and India is growing. So yeah, I mean, I was shocked. Just to echo your point, like I was also like, wow, this is amazing.
Yes. I think even like COVID also changed in a way, even I mean, my friends, we went to the same school, and they're currently making like 40 to 50 lakhs per annum, just to echo to what you just said. And I was like, okay, if you have any plans to come to US, I would not recommend, because, and again, like, with the amount of time you can save it, especially in India, by hiring maid, and also there are so many things that you can just outsource and have a peace of mind, versus like, again, like there are pros and cons in India and also in the US. Like we don't want to get into the debate, but it all depends on what your ultimate goal is, right? If you have a clarity,
it's very personal. It's very personal. Yeah.
Yep.
Someone prefers to be like, my friend was making $250,000 over a year. Still decided to went back to India because for him the goal was to be with the family. He took a pay cut and now makes 50 lakhs per year. But he's still happy with the 50 lakhs per year, and he's still living the life. In 50 lakhs, you can do so much more in India. But I think for him, the ultimate goal was to be with family. So he got the experience, went back. So it's just, again, very, very personal choice.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, and I know we are running short on time, so we are getting to the last segment of the podcast. I call these hot seat questions. Are you ready for this?
I am ready. Okay.
So there are 3 questions that I ask all my guests. So I call them the hot seat questions. The first one is with regards to taking action. So we spoke about a ton of stuff today, and compounding project is all about taking that first step of action. So what is one small action that you would recommend people right after listening to this episode?
Oh, wow. It depends on where they are taking the action. If it is YouTube, then I would say like systemize your content creation process. Like, I think, I guess in general, like, you should systemize your life. Like, whatever you're doing, put things into buckets and like try to systemize. Think your life in systems and organize the systems. Like, I guess that would be my advice.
Yeah, powerful advice. So second one is with respect to books. So books are an integral part of the compounding project podcast. So what 3 books you would recommend in 3 parts of life? So one book on health, one book on wealth, and one book on wisdom or self-help.
Oh, the book is called The Complete Guide to Fasting, which is what I'm reading right now. But there is also a book which he wrote before to that, which was about fasting, by Jason Fung. Again, he's done a research on diabetes, and the biggest reason is obesity and weight. And so he talks about weight loss, and then I'm struggling with the weight. So I came across my doctor actually recommended me to this book, and I read the first book, and then now I'm reading How to Do Intermittent Fasting. And so Jason Fung, like, absolutely worth it. Like, invest that money. Like, I'm guaranteeing you like it. What was the second genre?
For wealth.
Psychology of Money, hands down. I think it is. It changed my perspective of how I think about money. Self-help, I think it's hard. There's so many. Like, all-time favorite is Atomic Habits. If someone wants to just like get into habit formation, because habits are everything. But I'm also very spiritual, so I read like a lot of like spiritual books as well, like Bible in this case, for wisdom. So anyway, like, I would say like Atomic Habit is what I would recommend. There are a bunch of books. Yeah, I mean, Atomic Habit is right there. I was reading Diary of CEO. You didn't ask. You asked for wealth. There's also another book you should read, which is called E-Myth. Amazing book on how to think of your life into systems, and especially for creators and business person.
Yep. Yeah. I've reread, the E-Myth Revisited. I think it's Michael Gerber, I guess, if I'm getting it right.
For some reason, I don't remember authors, but I remember.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good book. Yeah, it talks about, like, why, like, entrepreneurs give up on their dreams because of that systems part. Yeah, which is like good. Yeah, powerful. Yeah, I've got a bunch of recommendations. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm link them in the show notes as well. And then the last one is with respect to a rapid fire. So I'll give you 2 options. So let me know what comes to your mind in the first place. Right? Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
All right. Yep. So stock market or real estate?
Oh, wow. Stock market, because I understand it better.
Yep. In index funds or individual stocks?
Index funds, always index funds.
All right. YouTube or Instagram?
YouTube.
Right. Time or money?
Time.
Buying or renting a house?
When I bought the house, it depends. If the rent is as much as the mortgage payment, then probably buying. Again, it depends on the financial condition. So, sorry, I know if I have to give one answer, like, it's hard. I would rent if my financial conditions were worse, but I would buy if, like, I have everything I need. So it just really depends.
Yep. I know it's a tricky question, but yeah, thanks for the answers. So with that, Yudi, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. So how can people learn more about you?
Just type Yudi J somewhere and you will find me. Yeah, you can learn more about me on YouTube. Newsletter is my personal. I write them, so I love writing them. You can do newsletter as well. Instagram Yudi.J, LinkedIn as well. Yeah, just find me if you are an international student or an immigrant wanting to learn about how to study or be successful, immigration and Trump and all of it. I got it covered.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll link them in the show notes and also display on the screen. So I'm so excited for this episode because I was like looking for, a Yudi J podcast where he talks about his own journey. But yeah, this covered, I believe it covered most of it. If not,
Yeah,
we can do a part two as well. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Any final thoughts?
absolutely. Same. I don't think I have talked about it in so much of depth in terms of content creation. And again, this is the same mindset. I'm thinking like, oh, who would want to learn from me? Like there are so much more bigger creators than me. So I'm glad you asked those questions, and I hope it was helpful. Happy to help and happy to do another deep dive if there's any topic that you think. And again, I enjoyed it. It felt like a conversation, and I love the rapid fire as well. I wasn't prepared, but I think I think I did well.
Yep. Yeah, thank you so much. Great. Yeah, so, yeah, if you found value in this episode, then please don't forget to compounding project. Until next time, trust compounding and take action now.